The rain was so loud that night, it drowned out my mother's voice as she shut the door behind me. I was 15, barefoot, shaking, and the storm didn't care. "Just admit what you did," my father said, his hands trembling on the doorknob. I opened my mouth to speak, but my sister Madison was already crying behind him. So they chose her. Again. Lightning cracked the sky as I stepped into the darkness, my name heavy on my chest like a lie I couldn't wash off. I remember thinking, this is how people disappear. Minutes later, headlights blinded me. A scream. Then silence. When I woke up, a stranger was holding my hand, whispering, "You're safe now." I didn't know her name yet. I didn't know she would save my life. Or that years later, my father's hands would shake again, when he finally saw who I became because they left me. And that's where my story truly began. Before I shared this chapter of my life, if you've ever felt ignored, unheard, or underestimated, then this channel is for you. Subscribe to Jossy Revenge, where every story has a heartbeat. Now, let me take you back to where it all began. I was 15 when my life fractured the night my family turned their backs on me, and my sister's lies became a cruel truth. Growing up, Madison always got the spotlight. I was the quiet one, the good girl who never complained, while Madison's emotional storms took center stage. Our parents were always quick to comfort her, to believe her, no matter what. At first, I thought it was normal sibling rivalry, a little jealousy here and there, but it wasn't. It was something darker. That night, it all exploded. I still don't fully understand why she did it. Maybe out of jealousy, maybe just to hurt me. Madison told our parents I was spreading nasty rumors about her and, worse, that I had physically hurt her. The words felt like knives, but I swore I didn't do it. "Olivia, just admit it," my dad said, voice shaking with frustration. "We know the truth." My mom looked at me with tired eyes, the kind that said they'd already decided who was guilty. I tried to explain, to plead, but their minds were closed. I could hear Madison crying in the background, so real it pierced my heart. And then, without a second thought, they told me to leave. Out into the storm. The rain was relentless. I remember the cold sinking into my skin, how the mud soaked my shoes. I stood there, feeling smaller than I ever had, surrounded by shadows and broken promises. My heart was pounding, but I didn't dare cry. Crying wouldn't change their minds. I walked for what felt like hours, every step heavier than the last. The storm wasn't just outside, it was inside me too, swirling with confusion, pain, and the sharp sting of betrayal. At one point, I found shelter under a broken street lamp, shivering, wondering how a family could so easily erase their own daughter. That's when the headlights came blinding, sudden, and terrifying. A crash, a scream, and then nothing but darkness. What would you do if this happened to you? If the people you trusted the most decided you were the enemy? Have you ever been made to feel invisible by your own family? This was my breaking point, and unknowingly, the moment everything was about to change. When I came to, the world was quiet and sterile. The sharp scent of antiseptic filled my nose. I was lying on a hospital bed, tangled in white sheets, the steady beep of a monitor keeping time with my shaky breaths. At first, I was too weak to remember where I was or how I got there. Then she appeared, Dr. Eleanor Smith. She wasn't just a doctor. She had this calm kindness that wrapped around me like a warm blanket in the middle of a freezing storm. Her eyes held stories of their own, stories I didn't know I needed to hear. "Olivia," she said softly, "you're safe now." I wanted to ask who she was, why she cared, but the words got stuck somewhere between my throat and my broken heart. Over the next few days, Dr. Smith listened, really listened. When I told her about Madison's lies, about my parents' cold shoulders and sharp words, she didn't judge. Instead, she shared a piece of her own past, a childhood shattered by neglect, by people who chose to look away. "I know what it feels like to be invisible," she told me once. "But you don't have to stay invisible. You can choose who you become." She became my guardian, my mentor, my mother figure. With her help, I entered foster care. But it was unlike anything I had feared. Dr. Smith fought for me, made sure I had what I needed: school supplies, clothes, a safe place to sleep. School became my sanctuary. For the first time, I wasn't just Olivia, the forgotten daughter. I was Olivia, the student who wanted to learn, who dreamed of more. I worked harder than I ever had. Scholarships, awards, late-night study sessions, they became my weapons against the past that tried to hold me down. Years passed. I earned a full scholarship to college. I built a life that was mine. But more than that, I created something for others like me, the Second Chances Scholarship Program, a lifeline for students from broken homes, from storms like mine. Through it all, Dr. Smith was my anchor. She believed in me when no one else did. Have you ever trusted someone so deeply that they changed your entire world? I had, and it saved me. I thought I had left the past behind, but life had one more chapter to write. Years later, I stood backstage at Riverside State University's graduation ceremony, heart pounding not from nerves about the speech, but from the weight of what I was about to say. My parents were in the audience, along with Madison, their shining star, graduating with honors. They had no idea who I had become, or that the girl they abandoned was now the keynote speaker. As I walked onto the stage, I saw the surprise flicker in their eyes, quickly masked by polite smiles. The crowd hushed as I took the microphone. "I want to tell you a story," I began, my voice steady but full of emotion. A story about family, lies, and the power of second chances. I shared the truth about that stormy night when my parents left me outside, about Madison's lies that tore our family apart, and about the stranger who saved my life and became my family. There was silence, then a ripple of whispers. "My journey wasn't easy," I said, "but it taught me the most important lesson. Family isn't just who you're born to, it's who chooses to stand by you when it matters most." I looked at Madison, whose smile faltered for the first time in years. "And to those who have ever been ignored or underestimated," I added, "know this: your story isn't over. You have the power to write your own ending." After the ceremony, I watched as Madison's friends quietly drifted away, the cracks in her perfect world finally showing. My parents approached me later, their faces a mix of regret and disbelief. I forgave them, not for them, but for my own peace. But I made it clear: some doors close forever. My speech went viral. The Second Chances Scholarship Program received more support than ever, helping countless students find hope where I once found despair. Most importantly, I found family in Dr. Smith and in the community. I built people who chose me, believed in me, and loved me for who I am. What would you do if your darkest moment became the start of your brightest future? Have you ever had to choose family beyond blood? This is my story, one of betrayal, resilience, and the power to rise. Moral of the story: after everything I've been through, I've learned that life isn't about where you start, it's about where you choose to go. Pain and betrayal can feel like the end, but they can also be the beginning of something new, something better. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting what hurt you. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of anger and making space for peace. I hope my story reminds you that no matter how dark the storm, you can find light sometimes in unexpected people, sometimes in yourself. And when your family fails you, remember, you have the power to choose who stands beside you. If my story touched you, hit that subscribe button for more emotional tales from Jossy Revenge. And even if it didn't, come on, subscribe anyway. I'll win you over next time. Drop a comment, like the video, and let's keep the stories alive. Thanks for watching.